All right, so we're going to do this midpoint thing, right? Now, we're going to kind of start with the same idea. Except now, we're going to have 2 points like this. So that's a segment, right? So the very first thing I want to point out is if this point right here is in the middle, what is true about this part and that part? They are equal. How can you show that on a picture? Yep, the two lines, the two tick marks. So what I want to emphasize, you cannot say this is equal to that unless you know it's true. So what we're saying first is, how can we know it's true? One way is they can put that. You guys with me on that? Another way they can do that is they could say C is the, what do you think could go there? What word? Yeah, mid. We're going to call it is the middle, but since it's a point, we're going to call it the midpoint. So if you know C is the midpoint, that means that these are equal, right? Or if they tell you by a tick mark they're equal, or I guess they could say AC equals CB, which they don't do very often. Okay, so everybody with me on that? So everything else is going to be just like what we did. Now the only difference is most of the time there's going to be less steps, because if these things, if that's in the middle, do I need to add this plus that and put it equal to the whole thing? Or can I just say these two things are equal to each other? If we know that's in the middle and those two parts are equal, what is true about AC compared to CB? Yeah, they're equal to each other. Would you guys agree with that? So when we have a midpoint problem, we know that AC equals CB. Okay, is everybody with me so far? Okay, now let's go back. We're still going to give a reason. What do you think would be a good reason if somebody come up and they said, I do not believe that AC is equal to CB? How do you know that? What would you tell them? Yeah, okay, so the tick marks prove that they're equal because the tick marks tell you that C is the what? C is the midpoint. Does that make sense, everybody? So what you're saying is right. So our reason always here is just going to be this. Because that's what a midpoint does, doesn't it? Splits up into two equal parts. So anytime there's a midpoint and we're saying these two parts are equal, that's the definition of midpoint. Because that's what a midpoint does. And then everything else is going to look almost identical to what we just did. What is AC? 4x plus 1, isn't it? What is CB? 2x plus 5. What's our reason for that one? Substitution. Now we're going to solve for x, aren't we? If I get my numbers together, I'd have 4x equals 2x. I'm going to subtract 1. So I'm putting subtraction. I'm going to subtract 2x. And then I'm going to divide. Just like that. Okay, we're going to do that one on your paper in just a second. Now, one thing that we did not do on the other problem, it's the same as here, so it didn't matter where we went over. But what I want to point out is everybody watching? Okay. This is telling me x equals 2, right? What if the problem asks you that? What do you think should happen now? Mm-hmm. So remember, find AC means what's the length of AC, right? We know that AC is 4x plus 1, right? So if we know that x is 2, we can find that by just doing, yep, plug in what we got for x, right? And work it out. that make sense? If AC was 9, what would CB be? It'd be 9 also, wouldn't it? And then if we wanted the whole thing, in this case AB, we would just take the two parts and add them together, and you'd have 18. Okay, you guys try the one, what number is it? Sorry, 8?
This one.
No, yeah, the one, yeah, number 8. Yeah, you guys do number 8.